So those of you who love the ANC, bid it goodbye. There will be no ANC in the South African government after the 2034 elections. There will be no ANC. The ANC will not be part of the South African government in 2034. Those of you as old as I am, I think you'll still be alive. And if this news is still going, call me and ask me, what did you say that year? So the ANC will decline. 2, the DA will gain relatively marginally. And the polls that were quoted last night tell us the DA at the national level will sit around the upper 20s, 27%. The biggest gain of the DA will be in Johannesburg. In fact, Johannesburg is actually the biggest deal in these elections, for understandable reasons. Johannesburg is our industrial economic capital. So if Johannesburg falls apart, the whole of the South African economy literally falls apart. And all of us will be trying to stampede into the Western Cape, and down there is no space. You can't fit all of us. So the DA will gain marginally at the national level. But after the elections, there will be a DA mayor in Johannesburg. I can say this without any shadow of doubt. Not because I have endorsed Helen, and I did endorse Helen, and I continue to, by the way. But Helen will be the mayor of Johannesburg after the elections, under whatever circumstances. The scenario I see, it's actually the DA partnering with Action SA. If the DA gets what the polls are telling us, which is in the lower 40s, 42, 44, Action SA is about 10%. The two of them can easily constitute the government of Johannesburg. I see that happening. It will be very risky for Action SA not to do it, because the message from the electorate would have been loud and clear. You can't resuscitate a carcass from the grave. So that will be the biggest win for the DA in Johannesburg. But the DA will also be a majority party in places like Epai, PE. Possibly their mayor there. In a very complicated coalition. It's not going to be as easy as Johannesburg down there. In Tshwane, possibly their mayor there. But also that coalition is going to be very complicated, not as easy as Johannesburg. eThekwini, I'm not sure if Duduzane is still here. Good news for him. Whether you like Umkhonto weSizwe or you don't, they will have their mayor in eThekwini. There is a tsunami in this part of the country, whether you like it or you don't like it. The EFF, I don't see them being part of any government. They will decline. And I don't see them as part of the mix. So the bigger picture is the ANC is going down, the DA is going up, but it's struggling and it will not touch 30%. So what happens after in the GNU? So I'm done with number one. Number two, what happens in the GNU, the real question, after the election? The GNU is going to be more complicated after the elections. Why? Number one, the ANC will be weaker. You would think that would be good news for the DA. The DA is going to have the most difficult time after the elections in the GNU. Why? The ANC will decline to the extent that factional knives will be so sharp after the elections against Ramaphosa. They will be very sharp. Whoever wants to succeed him will use the election results against him. And the election results will be very bad for the ANC. But we know those who want to succeed Ramaphosa. The guy who is ahead now is someone who addressed the business conference 2 years ago. Paul Mashatile. He is going to beat the anti-GNU drum in ways that you never imagined. And that's going to be very complicated for the DA. I don't know how the DA is going to handle that. Hopefully they have good strategists to deal with that. So Ramaphosa will be dodging bullets every day after the elections in the GNU. He's not going to be a confident president. In any case, he was never a confident president. He's going to be weaker after the GNU. And the whole point from that moment on would be, how do we process him out of government? That will be the main thing. It will not be about governing South Africa. It will be about, how do we process this liability outside the state? And by the way, the liability wants out. It's been wanting out for years now. And you guys actually, you know what you did to say, don't go. Because South Africa is at a point now where if you remove Ramaphosa, like, so what? Nobody knows what the country will look like. So it's going to be a shaky, government of national unity. All the stuff about reforms, this is going to be put on hold. It's going to be put on hold. No big deal about reforms, and this is going to be put on hold. The DA will hang by the by whisker to be in there. So it's going to be very bumpy. Helen drew that triangle and talked about the future of South Africa. And I watched it. And in my assessment, I said, I don't know what she has smoked. She sees things that don't exist. And I can assure you, that triangle was a waste of ink. This is the future of South Africa. The ANC out. And in the next 10 years, that is 2 elections from now, 2029, 2034, the ANC will be completely out. It will be the Zambia. Remember, in Zambia, they had Kenneth Kaunda with a very dominant party, and he was the father of the nation. If you go to Zambia, you can't find an office for that party. Gone. That's the fate of the ANC. So that's number one. The question is, who takes over from the ANC to be in charge of South Africa? That's the biggest question. And I listened to the mayor of Cape Town last night, and he seems to have smoked the same stuff that Helen smoked. South Africa, over the past 70 odd years, has been run by 2 political parties. 2. 70 odd years. One, the National Party, and it handed over to the ANC for 30 years. This country is a very complicated country. The only way you can hold it together is if you have some dominant force at the center of it. If you do not have a dominant force at the center of it, this thing easily can fall apart. We take it for granted. Easily can fall apart. There are groups of South Africans who actually want it to fall apart. Some of them are in the Western Cape. They have been pushing a thing called the Cape Independence. Let us not fool each other. Cape Independence. What is that about? The Cape Independence. Some of them are here in KwaZulu-Natal. There's a guy called Phakela Mthakati, who is very popular in this part of the country. He says he wants KwaZulu to have its own constitution. He's mobilizing as we speak. And the constitution must be decided by what he calls uZulu, the Zulus. I don't know if that will succeed, and I actually doubt it will succeed. But if you do not have a center that is strong, that holds, this thing can fall apart very easily.